Hello. So, today I'm going to talk about a topic that I've been thinking a lot about, but actually I decided to not write about it for once, so I'm going to try talking candidly. But yeah, there's this, maybe not a secret per se, but something that you don't really bring up in conversation a lot, but yeah, here's a huge secret. It takes a lot for me to explode and get mad at someone. Yeah, like, I consider myself someone with a really, really good temper. And, yeah, even in the face of conflict, when I really understand that someone did something fucked up, or someone wronged me, or someone invalidated me, I still do a pretty good job of keeping my cool. And I really realized how unique of a quality this was recently when something went down on Facebook. So, long and short of it is, I basically wrote a status that was kind of condemning all these people sharing all these memes about, like, punching Nazis and such. Like, in my view, I was like, you do know that, like, if you keep, like, joking about, like, killing them, that's, like, just as, like, bad as, like, them, like, you know, posting, like, some, like, black people die thing. I wasn't trying to say that it's, like, worse per se, because, you know, maybe it's more warranted violence, but still, I am, I guess, pretty much a pacifist. I, like, forgot about that term because I learned it in school, like, a long time ago, but, yeah, I didn't realize that I'm, like, super about, like, I guess, anti-violence. And a lot of people got really mad at me because they thought that I was just being, like, fake or something, or, like, white feministy, when really, the background is that just in my personal life, in all instances, I think that the way you react really has long-term consequences. And I just got really annoyed with just everyone trying to attack me and, like, basically all trying to provoke me into, like, showing visceral emotion about the cause when I have dedicated, like, my entire personal life and conversations to this. And I'm just saying this now on this vlog because I did not feel comfortable being defensive there. Because, in my view, if I had to justify being a good person to these people who were bent on trying to prove I wasn't to make themselves feel better, then that wasn't going to be productive for anyone, and that wasn't going to win me any favors in the long run. So yeah, I just don't really know how to get myself out of these situations sometimes, but I do know what I don't want to do, which is get mad back. It's always, like, you know, be really open-minded, just say what I think, but make it clear that I want to hear the other person's side. So yeah, in the status, I was given a lot of historical context too for how violence takes place in our society, and then I decided to explicitly make it clear that I was putting more nuance in my view, and I wasn't trying to condemn people for violence, and I wasn't gonna get all defensive and stuff and be, like, mean to anyone in the meantime. I didn't care that I looked like I was, like, backing down or, like, changing my original point, because the thing is, when you get more information, your emotions should naturally ebb and flow. And yeah, I just was determined to not let myself get defensive, and I had a few people approach me about that and be like, why are you like that? And I was like, it's not a bad thing. Like, no, it's not a bad thing, I was curious. So I was like, look, it's I guess how I've been for a long time. I wrote a recent blog post that when I was 3, I was, like, in this University of Connecticut, like, daycare experiment thing, or, not experiment, sorry, like a case study. And a big thing with me was I stood in the middle of these 2 other kids who were fighting and, like, held them apart. I didn't, like, fight them or punch them or anything, but I just, like, stood there and, like, refused to let the situation escalate, which my mom tells me a lot about. And I think that this really speaks to how my entire life I've tried to be a peacemaker, but be, like, a very proactive peacemaker and such. And, you know, I'm sorry if anyone's offended that I really advocate for non-violence, but for me, I just am never violent with my tone, never violent with raising my voice. I can't stand that shit. So I just want to talk more about how my brain works when it comes to my emotional reactions and how I handle being upset, which, if you don't know me, you probably would just think that because I'm a really intense and genuine person and caring, that it can, like, turn on you too, and I will stop being caring once you get me riled up. That's never true. I have a bunch of baselines that I really, really, really stick to. They are, you will never hear me call you a mean name. Ever. And I think it even, it won't stay in my brain for long enough for me to even call you that. I'll get to that in a sec. You'll never hear me kitchen sink you. Kitchen sinking is that phenomenon where, basically, it's like you call out everything in the past that piled up. It's like a whole bunch of dirty dishes in the sink. Like, you get mad at one thing, and then before you know it, you're bringing up something that happened in 2013 or something. Blah 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 blah. I don't do that. I am not going to hold the past against you unless it's super subconscious, but hopefully I'll have tried my best to work it out. Basically, I don't kitchen sink pretty much ever, but I mean, it's just a principle of mine that I feel really self-conscious talking about. Man, I don't talk about this very often, do I? I'm nervous. Oh well, it's YouTube. You'll also never hear me be passive-aggressive just to get you to react. I don't believe in emotionally manipulating people. I don't believe in just spouting something kind of venomous at you in passing and having it go unnoticed. No, I'm really trying hard to be proactive about not letting people be resentful of anything I do, of anything that might provoke them to have an emotion. So the way I deal with when I have beef with someone or I have a problem is I'm blunt. I'm never mean, I'm never cold per se, or I try not to be, but I'm firm. I'm straightforward about what's going on. But beneath that straightforwardness, there's not much else going on. There's not much more heat. You're not on the verge of getting attacked if you apologize or explain yourself. Chances are I'm going to stay pretty fucking calm while I listen to you explain. As long as you don't get, too defensive or try to accuse me of things, even then, I'm still not going to do it. If I try to tell you what the conflict is and it's clear you're refusing to listen by blatantly shaming me or not trying to understand, I'll still not raise my voice at you, no matter how much you deserve it or not. I don't think about that stuff. I'll, at most, give up and let you go. Really, all you've lost is cheerful me, Crystal. I'm not going to be maybe as cheerful, but you're not going to hear me demanding explanation. Or demanding that you change your behavior even, because that's your choice. Regardless of how close we are or not close we are or anything, whatever you did to me, I don't believe that I will ever have a justified reason to yell or to attack you, and that's not going to make you change. I don't demand apologies from people. I would prefer them, but I am not self-righteous. If you're triggered over your own guilt and you blame me for pointing something out, oh, I'm really smart about noticing that, but still, nope. Unless you try to gaslight me, or even if you're tripping or trying to manipulate me, I'm going to do my part to maintain the peace and let you explain yourself and make it clear to you that that's what I want. I want everything to end on a good note. Because for me, I forgive people all the time before they deserve it. I am always focused on the good times we've had and how much I care about you, regardless of what the temporary conflict is going on. I don't think anyone's a lost cause. I want to move on to greener pastures because there's a lot more shit going on in the world than maybe the petty or small problem. But I'm also not sensitive, so it'd have to be something it's a big deal. But I'm always going to be proactive about telling people something before it becomes a problem in the heat of the moment. I very rarely will just blow up at someone for no apparent reason unless they have a history of being extremely, extremely problematic. And I'm talking about there's a specific type of person that will just set me off because of kind of questioning how I do things. But as long as you are calm and willing to explain yourself, you are never going to hear me beat down on you. Like, never, no matter how offended you are, how scared you are, is an excuse for me to turn the gambit on someone else. Like, I'm not going to apologize for my feelings if I'm sad or if I'm sensitive that you made a dick move. But you can bet that the sadness I feel, even if it turns to anger, you're not going to see it. Like, I'm not going to be mean to you or be mad at you. I don't hold grudges. I can't think of a single person right now I would do that to. Like, people that I've had to cut out of my life, if they needed me, I would still help them. I give second chances to people readily. I don't think about merit or deserving. I'm not rubbing my hands together, plotting your fucking demise if you've wronged me. Like, conflict makes me angsty, but that's no one's problem but my own. I'm really trying to learn, and I've always been really curious about this phenomenon of the idea of, like, how Buddhism is like, you can be like water. You can be the one to control your reactions to situations and, like, dictate your own destiny. Because it's your relationship to the circumstances and the situation that's creating the pain, not literally the person. So I really try to be mindful of this, and I always have tried to. Like, because, I mean, for me, I'm the kind of person who's afraid of other people being angry. Sometimes I don't even know, and that's even scarier than if I knew for a fact and they had said to me literally explicitly, I am so angry, I'm going to beat you up. Like, I've had people say really shitty things to me before to get me to react if I seem, like, shut down and afraid, but, I mean, I'm the one who's, like, afraid of other people's anger, so I'm never going to call someone out for theirs. Fear, I think, has its place in telling us what we need to work on, and kicking it into submission is not the way to go. So, here's my stream of consciousness. When something bad happens to me, just like in general, I go, oh my god, I'm so upset. But I automatically keep the focus on me and what I'm going to do in response to those feelings, after I've maybe analyzed what my perception even is. But what I don't do is get mad and dwell on what you did. And I don't, like, focus on blaming people. No matter how fucked up it is, I'm only going to be sad and upset and angry at the fact that it affects me. Like, at that fact. Not what you, like, I'm not inclined to delegate blame because I can't control the other person. I can only control how I act in response to this drama. And I really hate unresolved conflict, but I'm really prone and inclined to believe that our relationship, whatever it is, we can solve it together as a team. I'm always about talking about how me and you can function, and I really, my wish is for other people to just be pragmatic too and be open to talking. Like, it's not, like, if you are just coming in and being like, hey, it's gonna be okay, and you have not raised your voice, then we're gonna be fine. Like, I really don't eviscerate people in my heads. And my secret is that, I guess, whenever, like, I look at someone who hurt me, for some reason, I just have this, like, visual of, like, them as, like, a kid, as a baby. Whenever I am about to, like, be upset and even think something mean about someone, I just look at this little fucking kid inside, everyone's inner child, and I'm like, man, I can't be mean to a kid. Like, everyone who does something fucked up, like, it's like this, we all learn, like, certain beliefs about the world as kids that make us react in certain ways. And I'm just like, man, if I say something mean, then, like, I'm kicking this kid, man, like, and then from there, it just dissolves. Like, all of the, like, negative feelings just completely and I go back to looking at this person's heart, where they're coming from, what place of pain and fear made them do this fucked up thing to me, and before I know it, I'm over it. Like, I really just think that saying or even ranting to other people about things does lasting damage. My mom's praised my temper for years while, ironically being the one to try and stoke it the most. But from her, and kind of like a lot of people, I think I've internalized a lot from watching other people handle conflict to kind of learn what to not do. And what to do is to be blunt about where I'm coming from and pray the other person gives enough of a crap to fix it too and collaborate with me. You know, like be like, what behavior needs to change? How are we going to move forward from here? Let's like really validate that we both want to move forward and such. And if they don't want to move forward, you gotta leave them alone. It's really hard for emotional people to do, I think, but I've really invested time in not reacting. And I think it's done me more favors with, like, I guess my default role of like moderating a lot of online debates that sometimes I start with a discussion question and then all of my friends of various backgrounds get into it. And then I'm the one who's trying to be like, hey, I see your emotional perspective. This is what I agree with, this is what I don't. And for you, same thing. Like, I just really try to make sure everyone's having good feelings and such. You know, I'm a pretty non-judgmental person to begin with. A lot of people have, like, you know, said, like, you're really easy to talk to, you're really friendly, and you go out of your way, and this carries over into how I just see people. I'm always aware of how not perfect I am. So if I mention something happened that bothered me, chances are I'm just sad about it, but I don't like going on rage rants where I tear someone to shreds. Even if it's behind their back, I'm still not going to talk shit on someone because I know it's not going to make me feel better to villainize someone. It's the conflict existing is the main problem. I can't just say, like, it's their problem. It's just the fact that it exists is what I'm reacting to, and I only have power over me. I journal a lot in third person. I've just kind of weirdly done that even before it was like a psychological like trend to do it, to detach. But I completely detach from identifying with the fear, the feeling, and I observe what's happening between me and the other person, but like in a weird third person narrative way. And from there I try to diagnose what's going on and try to present myself in the most understanding and calm light. So yeah, I guess I stay open, but only until someone's kind of defensive and self-righteous, and I can just read it off them. Like, I'm very intuitive with that. But even then, even if I like kind of shut down a little bit and am a little scared and frazzled, I'm still not thinking anything negative of you. Unless you won't leave me alone and like try to guilt me, then it's fine. You know, I think for me, a big thing also is like, I'm scared of sharing my beef. The person's opinion means a lot to me. Then I also kind of shut down, but it's never because I'm like secretly angry and I'm secretly gonna like kitchen sink you and stuff. So yeah, I'm not being fake if I'm nice to you after you fucked up and you've yet to apologize. Because I am gonna go after who I care about and who is worth investing in and figure out what's worth letting go and what's not. I have a lot of boundaries up with people, so even though I'm really friendly, there's a lot of people that just, like, I mean, there are very few people that I've let in enough to consistently talk to even have really, really bad conflict with. But in the meantime, I mean, you can fuck things up even in the small, like, you know, even if with people that you don't know very well. But I really just don't believe in judging people. Like, I have my own shit to deal with. Like, I don't have time to be upset for more than like a few minutes. Like, so yeah. So, also, another like thing I wanted to touch on was like, this is like handy with like face-to-face, you know, and over text, I'm finally learning that the thing with emojis or like tone inflection really matters, because I realize that I'm just being kind of blunt. People are gonna like read it and be like, oh my god, why is she like saying that? Oh my god, and like freak out and such. Because like over text, I guess I come off more blunt, but in person, I'm like, hey, like that bothered me. Can we talk about it? Over text, I could be like, yo, I'm disappointed in you. And like then people are like, oh no, she's about to like blow up on me. There's more coming. I know this is with social media a lot too, because like, you know, I'm reflecting on how a lot of interpersonal issues get sparked, and it comes down to tone being really misconstrued and people making assumptions and then being too scared to like check those assumptions and their validity. So, yeah, I'm trying to learn to be more warm, and to try to have the presence of saying, hey, I care about you, because I think I also focus a lot on my conflict dealings with, like, what I don't say. Like, I don't do this, but I think I'm also trying to be more proactive about, like, hey, I still care about you, I'm not really that mad, I swear, like, I'm just trying to resolve the conflict. This is also kind of why I, like, really value a lot of logical people as friends, because I'm just so emotional, and a lot of times I feel like if I talk about emotional things to someone who doesn't value logic as much during conflict resolution, then they're going to do things like, for example, try and attack people for me for the sake of loyalty, when I didn't want that, when I just wanted to, like, kind of confide in them for a sec, instead of, like, have a fucking Twitter war or some, like, confrontational thing thrown their way. Like, no, like, I'm not about that shit. So yeah, I really think that a lot of people would benefit from viewing how a situation is making you feel is kind of your responsibility. Like, no matter how fucked up it is, it's not your fault that maybe it's happening to you, but how you deal with it is going to have lasting consequences, and if you're okay with those, then by all means, go ahead. But I'm not okay with people being scarred because I called them, like, a name, or because I, like, brought up something they did and made them feel extra guilty more than they needed to, and yeah, I mean, I'm trying to learn to be kind actively and, like, go the extra mile, but lately I just feel like a lot of people need to go that extra mile, myself included, and, like, just hold your tongues more and, like, be understanding, give each other the benefit of the doubt, and I guess I get annoyed because I feel like I don't know a lot of people who just refuse to react but are also kind. But lately I'm, like, really encouraged because I'm meeting more of these people and I really get where they're coming from. I acknowledge that sometimes out of fear, if you don't react because you're afraid of making something worse and you're trying to prevent against that, that's actually very wise and very kind and very easily misunderstood, but I get that. And that's something that I have noticed I do. Like, I'll just not say anything if I think it's going to make it worse. And honestly, like, I've realized that kindness comes down to being vulnerable. And, I used to think I was super vulnerable because I would confront a problem. Now I realize that being vulnerable with telling the other person that they still mean a lot to you, even when you feel a little shut down, or, even if you're not literally eviscerating them, if you have the presence of just being kind to them and being like, hey, like, I still care about you, I really want to work this out. That's not being a weak ass, I just think that I was a weak ass for not getting judgmental on people who wronged me, and, like, to not, like, burn the witch and, like, bring down the gambit for, like, things that didn't work out with guys or friends who were being shitty. But now I'm just like, no, I'm not a weak ass, because I know I value myself enough to not say something mean that could be even taken as mean that I'll regret, because I always am thinking about the long term. If we're talking things out, I'm going to try to be blunt with you. And yeah, that's all I really got to say. But yeah, like, again, I'm not really judgmental of people unless they're, like, in it for, like, the fucking long con and, like, fucking me over. But that's not really a thing. People don't do that. Just whenever you are in front of me, if you show emotional presence when you're there, if you're looking at me, if you're really leaning towards me and it looks like you want to solve things, then, we're fine, I'm more prone to playing back montages of people being nice to me and the great things about people. Like, I won't talk to you if I don't trust you, but nope, no hard feelings nevertheless. So that is my philosophy on how to handle conflict and drama and my anger, which only a select few ever have seen me actually be straight up, like, rageful. Like, anything else you think is me being angry is probably just me being blunt and mildly confused and just waiting for an explanation, as opposed to me being indignant and waiting by the door to unleash the dog that is, like, my feels. So, yeah, wow, I went for 25 minutes, guys. This is a big deal. So, yeah, bye.